We have with us PKD Nambiar, the BJP supporter, as well as we have Ravneet Barar, the farmer leader, joining us. As far as PKD Nambiar, first to you. 2 days after setting this massive target, the government has made a complete U-turn. As just 2 days ago, they had set this massive target of about 10 million tons of export. So how come this ban has been put into place just 2 days after that huge announcement?
I think that we all know that we are right now sitting in a crisis situation all across the world. There is a food crisis which is taking place across the world. I am sure that the government has, within its command over the situation, might have taken this decision. One, of course, so far the collection of the wheat, the government procurement has been a 15-year low in this year because of the climatic conditions, especially because of the March and the April have been the really great summer, or we know that right now we are sitting on 46 to 48 degrees Celsius. So this along with a large amount of export which we have already done it in the last couple of months, maybe using it as an opportunity to reap the benefit of our farmers. But it is important for every country to ensure that our food security, our agricultural stockpile is more important than anything else. Also, we need to understand there is a food inflation has touched an all-time high of almost close to 8%, and this has also something which needs to be addressed. So on the one side, we need to ensure that our farmers and their interest and their earning is being in the right way. But in the meantime, it is also we need to look at the food security of each one of us. You and me needs to be. It is the responsibility of the government. And there are food, especially wheat or rice, any of these crops. These things are depending upon the climatic conditions. And if there is a decision government has taken, it will be in the interest of each one of us, including our farmers. And there is no doubt.
Benefiting.
PKD Nambiar, you'd like to react to that?
No, see, we all need to understand that we are not living in anymore that very comfortable situation. Even in the US, for an example, their inflation rates have gone up to the 40 years high. And so as in India, we are going up. On the one side, we wanted our inflation rates to come down. Our farmers should be, we should be able to have enough stock, even if there is a major crisis which take place because of the prevailing conditions of the Ukraine war. And we all know that Ukraine and some of these countries are one of the major wheat exporters to the world. So there is a huge international demand, but unless and until, so you remember that, Divya, if you remember that during the vaccine time, there was a huge hue and cry that we are exporting the vaccines to all the world and while not serving to the people. So it is applicable here. If you are not having enough food security measures within our country, maybe exporting may not be the right thing. So there are, one is the food security issue. Second is also the financial aspect of it. Both needs to be tackled, the economic activity which related to the inflation. I think with this effort, the government has banning this decision, they will be doing a dual purpose is going to be solved. But in the meantime, this is not forever. So it may be if
there is also an exception to this ban that if the government of India gives permission, then we could have those in fact export wheat as far as the government is concerned. They can give a certain countries permission. The countries to place need to be based on requests that would be made to India.
Divya, in fact, the government has already taken a very clear decision that if there is any kind of a governmental request, because if a particular country is going to have a food crisis, and if there is a government request, we will be doing that. The same way, it is also clearly said that all those letter of credit were an irrevocable letter of credit which has issued already. All those commitment of whether it is a private or a government parties will be met. So it's not like from now onwards, from today onwards, no fresh orders will not be taken for the international, for the exports. That's the only check the government is doing. I think which is in the interest of all of us. Imagine a day that even whether it is a Congress or for that matter anybody, all these opposition parties will say, if there is a deficit in our food security or our food stocks, what will be the situation? What is this whole people? Then they will all criticize, why did you go and exported it when you were just wanted to show to the world only for the PR purpose of Mr. Modi? He has exported and given all our wheat to the rest of the world, but not while taking care about our own people. So
right.
I think it's there are something which we need to politicize. There are something which is in the interest of the country. The government is always working for the welfare of the people, and this government specifically, we know that they worked so hard and made it sure that during the COVID time, every household got the ration.
Right, PKD Nambiar, well, this is a time when not just the government but also the common man is under pressure as far as inflation that surged to 7.79% in April. So obviously the farmers have their woes, they have their issues. How would you tackle this if you are going to curtail the exports?
Absolutely. I think I am coming from a farming background, and I do understand that when the yield, the taking time, that is the time where a farmer is waiting all his 6 months or 1 year of an effort, wherein if he can get some additional money. But then, as I said, that we are not living in that most ideal condition. There is a global supply chain crisis which is taking place. We are not an isolated country. We are not. We are connected to a global economy. We are connected to the global supply chain. These are realities. So we cannot shy away, or we cannot just move away. We have seen that there are economies are crippling down one after another, whether it is in our neighborhood where they are starving for food. So I think it is important that while we look after our farmers, and और हिंदी में जैसे कहते हैं हमारा अन्नदाता है, but then it is also important for all of us to ensure that we need to have enough food security for our country. We also need to look after our economy, our inflation. On the one side, we say that our food inflation is in the highest, but if we wanted to bring it down, then of course we also need to ensure that we have enough food in hand. So we need to support to the world. We need to do a good business, which the Commerce Ministry, and even if you remember, the couple of weeks back, the Commerce Minister has tweeted that we are ready. In fact, the Commerce Ministry had even sent people to various countries to go and market our wheat. So I'm sure that there must be a serious reason for our country to take such kind of a decision. And the farmers are also an integral part of this country. So we all need to take that in that interest and welcome this decision. And this is not a permanent decision. This may be even just for a time being, and I'm sure that it must be a well thought after decision, and let's accept it and welcome that decision, that it's in our interest.
Right, the big question being, do we have enough wheat that we can export at this point in time or not? That is the big question that needs to be answered. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Moving on in